Hello, paid subscribers to Sincere American Writing. This is my second video. I wanted to discuss today an author who I'm sure many of you have heard of and some probably have not, named Ottessa Moshfegh. She's an Iranian American writer. Her father was from Iran, her mother was from Croatia. She's my age, she's about 43. She's done, I think, about half a dozen books or so now. Um, Starting with some short story collections and about a decade or a little bit less than a decade ago I've read a short story collection. I read one of her novels, and this I recently read this LAPVONA, and it was a pandemic novel that she wrote in 2020 during the pandemic, and it's pretty classic Moshfegh. So I wanted to discuss it a little bit. First, before that, I've been mentioning many, many times my new essay collection that just came out, Controversial, the Substack Essays Polemics 2022 to 2024. It's a collection of the cream of the crop of my essays covering politics, literature, and culture over the last 2 years. Has a great cover. I worked with a really good designer. I'm really proud of the essays. They've been worked over quite a lot and covers everything from Trump to JD Vance to the craft of writing without bias or with bias, whether it's possible to write without bias, to covering authors such as Henry Miller, Bukowski, Nabokov, uh, and many more. So I'll put a link in the post, and I really encourage you to consider buying the book and reviewing on Amazon. I really appreciate it. It's available in print. It's available in ebook. The ebook is $2.99. The print is, I believe, $14.99. So please consider that. So, okay, Lapvona. So the basic premise of the book is this 13-year-old narrator who is the son of a sheep herder father, and we don't really have a time frame, but it feels like it's, um, sort of like the 1100s or 1200s or 1300s. It's in an undisclosed town with surrounded by mountains and fields, and there's a sheep herder father who has a son who's 13 named Merrick, and the father basically hates the son. Merrick is physically deformed and a very troubled kid. We sort of like him, but we sort of don't. It's complicated, but I think we empathize with him. I empathize with him. He endures a lot of physical and verbal abuse from his father. Anyway, a man named William with a V, like William but with a V. William is essentially a king who leads the the town, and lives up in a manor in a different part of town and doesn't have to deal with sort of the run of the mill working class people, let's say, down in the village. And a huge drought comes, and William diverts the water so that a horrible um, drought and famine hit the village, but William and his guards and his people and his wife are all fine. Anyway, long story short, Merrick ends up uh, killing William's son on accident. It's a long story, and the father, Merrick's father, switches. Takes the body of the slain child, William's child, and in exchange gives up his son Merrick. So Merrick, the 13-year-old narrator, becomes William's son and lives in the manor and slowly develops an understanding over time of William's power and control and how he's diverted the water and how everyone down there is suffering. And so it's sort of just this meandering story of how that unfolds, that awareness, and what Merrick does about it. Um, it's from what I had read of Moshfegh before, it's in a similar vein in terms of the subject matter is completely different. Most of the stuff I've read by her is much more contemporary and kind of realistic, and modern, but it's similar in a couple ways. Number one, it's incredibly dark. I mean, this book, like everything from brutal rape to